What's up guys, it's Coaster Turtles here, and for today's video, I will be doing my top 9 coasters at Dollywood, located in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I've gotten the chance to visit this park so many times. Every year I go about 1 or 2 times. Every Christmas I make my way up to Dollywood, and this park is for sure one of the best parks in the world for their coaster collection, park appearance, food, and much more. It ranks in the top 5 parks I've been to, and it is a great park that absolutely never gets old. But this countdown is going to be a little different than normal because the park has 9 coasters, not 10, but their coasters are for sure quality over quantity. They do a great job theming the rides, and there is a coaster for everyone. But before we get into the list, I want to make clear that these are my opinions and my opinions only, and for sure some of these opinions can be controversial, but most importantly, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos on coasters often. Also, if you want to see more, make sure to follow our social media pages for updates and much more. But let's jump right in. As to start out at number 9, we have Whistlepunk Chaser. This is your standard kiddie coaster made by Zamperla. There's really not that much to talk about here, other than it looks good, but that's about it. So, taking our number 8 spot, we kind of have a coaster, but mostly dark ride. That is Blazing Fury. Now, like I just said, this is mostly a dark ride, but what makes it a coaster is that there are some coaster elements, such as a couple drops. It really doesn't do anything other than the drops, and someone that is used to like a lot of newer dark rides, this is so much out of date, but you gotta respect its history. It could use some new animatronics, but I get what they were trying to do, and it can still be a fun ride just like it is. But here we are getting into the number 7 spot, and is actually where all the good coasters are, such as Dragonflyer taking this spot. It opened in 2019 with the whole Wildwood Grove expansion, and this thing just fits so well at the park, as they're only a inverted coaster and it packs a punch. Even though it is labeled as a family coaster, most of this ride is twists and turns, but it still has 2 great moments, such as that first drop and the overbank that catches you off guard, especially on your first ride on how steep it is. Yes, it is a clone, but those are across the ocean, and close to none of the riders who ride this will have ever heard of those coasters, so it'll take my number 7 spot. And next, we have another family coaster at the park. This is Fire Chaser Express, and to me, this is for sure one of the best family coasters in the ride experience, competing with Verbolten, Manta, even Cheetah Hunt. It has it all, going forwards, backwards, a launch, and the theming is just so well done. There's a really good storyline, but the ride overall is still fun, even though some of the parts can be a little tame and sometimes shaky. Into the top 5, we have Wild Eagle, the B&M wing coaster at the park, and Wild Eagle really gets some unnecessary hate, and I can agree with that sometimes, but yes, it can be shaky in parts, and of course, it is a wing coaster, but the setting is fantastic, and that drop, even though a lot of people prefer the wing over drops, this one is still good, especially in the back. You get some very nice airtime, and it serves a very good crowd pleaser, most GP even calling it the best coaster in the park, while others say a Mystery Mine, which is coming in our number 4th spot. For this, you either love it or hate it, and I used to not like it, but not gonna lie, after every visit to Dollywood, to me it just gets better and better, mostly because I get used to it being very bad in the transitions, and there are moments that are just so uncomfortable. But what you should do is every ride put your body up against the restraint, and you can really find yourself enjoying this ride, especially with that ending and the absolutely incredible soundtrack. And then of course it has all the theming, and it's just such a fun experience, and I find myself marathoning this thing almost every visit to Dollywood. So starting off the top 3, we have Tennessee Tornado, this aerodynamics custom looper, and overall this is such a good ride. Even though it is super short, it is by far the best aero custom looper. It is such a great coaster with all the speed you have through the coaster. That first vertical loop is so fun, and it's absolutely huge, and it is super smooth. I mean, it does have its bumpy spots during that second half, but you barely notice it. And overall, like I said, this is such a good coaster, very high quality, and this at the number 2 spot is one of my favorite GCIs. This is, of course, Thunderhead, and even though it was rough, they just recently retracked a lot of the rough spots. So it is way smoother and it's running so good. The airtime is on point. It is super intense and just so aggressive. You're getting thrown all over the place. It is absolutely madness from start to finish. And of course, taking our #1 spot, you guessed it, it is a lightning rod, the one-of-a-kind RMC launched wooden coaster. And this ride is absolutely insane craziness, one of the best coasters in the world. It has probably the strongest airtime of all time. Like, that quad down is absolutely incredible. I have a full in-depth review on this thing, so if you want more of my thoughts, I recommend you check it out. The same with other coasters on this list, but it is such an insane experience, one of the best out there. So what do you think of this list? Make sure to post that in the comments below. I read every comment, love what you guys had to say, and of course make sure to subscribe for more videos on coasters often. And see ya.